Good. Howdy everybody, I'm Ethan, and today I'm going to be talking about the situational leadership model. So one of the biggest takeaways from this concept is that leadership is not a one-size-fits-all. Instead, it depends on the situation and the people you're leading. Different people need different things, and as a leader, you have to be able to adjust to them. So I'm going to walk you guys through what the situational leadership model is, and then apply it to a real group project I worked on here at Texas A&M. So, the situational leadership model was developed by Hershey and Blanchard in the mid-1970s, and it is based on three main things. So first, the amount of direction a leader gives, which is task-related. Second, the amount of socio-emotional support, which is relationship-based. And third, the development level of followers. Follower development is based on two things, competence and commitment. Competence means how skilled or experienced someone is, and commitment is how motivated or confident they are. From that, there are 4 development levels. So there is D1, which is low competence but high commitment. So that just means these are the people who are new to the task but they're motivated to do it. D2 is low competence and low commitment. These people are usually struggling or disencouraged. D3 is high competence, low commitment, which they know what they're doing, but they may lack motivation or confidence. And D4 is high competence and high commitment. And these are your strongest, most independent people. So now, to match those, there are 4 leadership styles. So S1 is directing. That's high direction and low support, and you're basically telling people exactly what to do. There is S2, which is coaching. That's high direction and high support. You're still guiding them, but also encouraging them. S3 is supporting. That's low direction and high support. You're letting them take more control, but still helping them with their confidence. And S4 is delegating, and that's low direction and low support. You're trusting them to handle things on their own. The key idea is that you have to match the leadership style with the followers' development level. So D1 matches with S1, D2 matches with S2, D3, S3, D4, S4. But what's interesting is that most leaders don't actually do this well. The majority tend to stick to just one leadership style instead of adapting. So for my application, I saw this play out in one of my recent group presentations here at Texas A&M. So in our group, everyone was at a different level, which made it a perfect example of situational leadership. So first, we had somebody in our group who had never made slides on PowerPoint before, but they were really motivated to help out. So this was a D1 person. So they had low competence, but high commitment. So with them, I used a directing style, or S1. So I gave clear instructions, showed them how to do things, and checked in often with them. They needed structure more than anything. Then, as the project went on, that same person started to get overwhelmed and lost confidence. So that shifted them into a D2 level. At this point, I switched to a coaching style, or S2, and I still guided them, but I focused more on encouraging them and explaining why they were doing things a certain way. And then we also had somebody who was very capable and had experience, but honestly just wasn't very engaged. So that would be a D3 person, which is high competence and low commitment. With them, I used a supporting style. So instead of telling them what to do, I asked them for their input and tried to get them more involved in decisions. Finally, we had somebody who was confident, experienced, and motivated. So that's D4. So with them, I used a delegating style, S4. I trusted them to handle their part without needing much guidance at all. So this project really showed me that leadership isn't about treating everybody the same. It's about adjusting based on where people are. So my main point in my wrap up, overall the biggest takeaway is that leadership is about adaptability. You have to just understand both the skill level and the motivation of the people you're leading, and then adjust your approach accordingly. If you try to lead someone in the same way, you're probably not going to get the best results. So now I have some discussion questions I'm going to ask you guys. So, which development level do you think you are most often in as a follower and why? Any takes? So development level D1, D2, D3, D4. What's that? I'm sorry? D1, you think you're a D1? So you have low commitment but high competence, I believe.
Flip it.
Oh, yeah, flip it. Low competence and high commitment. So you may not have the ability to do something, but you're still motivated to get it done. I can agree with that because, I'm always willing to learn new things. I'm pretty pumped about getting stuff done and figuring new stuff out. So I agree with you on that. So for my next question, which leadership style do you naturally tend to use the most? So S1, S2, S3, S4.
S2 was coaching, right?
S2 was coaching, yes.
I'll do coaching, yeah.
Okay.
Coaching because I like to have a support in the process.
Yeah.
And if someone's down and what they're needed to do, I like to coach them to get back to where their skill set can improve.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right, sweet. And for my last question, do you think leaders struggle more with adapting their style or recognizing what their followers actually need?
I'd say adapting because a lot of people are different, and it's hard to change, I guess, your behavior, like your style, to, focus on any different things. So I'd say like adapting is hard. So.
All right. I agree. And that's my presentation, guys. Thank you so much for listening.